Hey everybody, today I'd like to talk quickly about the human lymphatic system. The human lymphatic system, this is going to be a very quick overview, by the way. The human lymphatic system is a network of vessels, nodes, and organs in the body that help transform something called lymph. And lymph is a clear fluid that contains white blood cells, and it takes this fluid and transports it throughout the body. And there are a few main functions of the lymphatic system. So here we've got a picture of a couple of big pieces of the lymphatic system that we're going to kind of talk about throughout this presentation, and I'll come back to this. But the lymphatic system has a few big functions. First of all, it's involved in immune support. It plays a critical role in the body's immune defense by filtering and removing foreign particles like bacteria and viruses out of the lymph. The lymphatic system is also involved in fluid balance, so it helps maintain fluid balance in the body by collecting excess tissue fluid and returning it back to the bloodstream. And finally, the lymphatic system is involved in fat absorption. It aids in the absorption of dietary fats in the small intestine and then transports those to the bloodstream. So let's talk about some of the major lymphatic structures here. So we've got the thymus gland. It's located there in the chest behind the breastbone. The thymus is a primary lymphoid organ that plays a critical role in the development and maturation of T lymphocytes, or as we call them, T cells. And that's a type of white blood cell that's important for immune defense. The spleen, which you'll see located in the upper abdomen beneath the rib cage, the spleen acts as a blood filter and reservoir. It filters out damaged blood cells, stores platelets, and helps the immune system by producing and storing white blood cells. At the top there, you see we have the tonsils. The tonsils are located at the back of the throat on either side. The tonsils are part of the body's defense against inhaled or ingested pathogens. They help to trap and destroy bacteria and other foreign particles. The lymph nodes, they are found throughout the body, often clustered in regions like the neck, armpits, and groin. You can see some lymph nodes located on this graphic here. The lymph nodes act as filters. They remove harmful substances from lymphatic fluid, and they also play a role in immune responses by housing immune cells that help fight infections. We have lymph vessels. Lymph vessels are distributed throughout the body, and they are typically parallel to blood vessels. Lymph vessels transport lymph, which is that clear fluid, remember we said, with white blood cells in it, and they help maintain fluid balance by draining excess tissue fluid and returning it back to the bloodstream. That would be why they're located right next to blood vessels. They also facilitate the circulation of immune cells. Very, very important. What's not labeled on here is red bone marrow. Red bone marrow is found in the cavities of certain bones, like femur bones, pelvis, ribs, etc. And red bone marrow in the lymphatic system, we know that red bone marrow is involved in the process of producing blood cells, like the red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, formation of blood cellular components. So that red bone marrow, you'll hear in many other systems as well, obviously, like the circulatory cardiovascular system. So let's talk about how lymph flows through the lymphatic system. So I'm going to kind of give you a little breakdown here. First of all, we start with the lymphatic capillaries. So lymph begins its journey in these little tiny thin-walled lymphatic capillaries located throughout the body tissues. These capillaries collect excess tissue fluid, which we know is lymph, along with waste products and white blood cells. It then goes into lymphatic vessels. So lymphatic vessels are basically more lymphatic capillaries, but they merge into these larger lymphatic vessels. These vessels have one-way valves, so there's no backflow of lymph. and they carry lymph towards larger lymph nodes and eventually towards major lymphatic ducts. Lymph nodes then are the small bean-shaped structures found throughout the system we looked at before. And as lymph enters these lymph nodes, it's filtered and checked for pathogens by immune cells. After that, the clean lymph is going to exit the lymph node through other vessels. The lymph duct, there are two major lymphatic ducts in the body, the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. These ducts serve as the main channels for collecting and transporting lymph. The right lymphatic duct drains lymph from the upper right side of the body, while the thoracic duct collects lymph from the rest of the body. We've got valves throughout the system. We talked a little bit before. The valves make sure that lymph flows one way and prevents lymph from flowing backwards. These valves obviously maintain movement of lymph towards larger lymphatic ducts and ultimately, hopefully, back into the bloodstream. We've got something called the subclavian vein. This is a major lymphatic duct. The right lymphatic duct and thoracic, I can't say that word today, duct eventually empty into the subclavian vein, and that is located near your collarbone. This junction allows lymph to re-enter the circulatory system, returning to the bloodstream and maintaining overall fluid balance. The very, very last thing I want to talk about today when we talk about the lymphatic system is histamines and how they work. I find that this is a question I get a lot. So a histamine is a chemical compound that plays a significant role in the body's immune response and other physiological processes. Histamine affects the body by promoting inflammation, regulating stomach acid production, and functioning as a neurotransmitter in the brain. It releases a key component of the body's immune response and can lead to various symptoms depending on the context. So that's a quick overview of the lymphatic system. Hopefully it helped you in some way. Thanks so much.